Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The metal floor beneath Captain Alina Voss's boots vibrated with the hum of the starship Ardent's Edge, a sound she had long stopped noticing. Outside the viewport, the void stretched endlessly, dark, empty, and silent, except for the distant glimmer of stars that seemed impossibly far away. She had learned over years of space travel that the stars did not guide you, they only reminded you how small you were. Alina had spent 3 decades exploring uncharted sectors for the United Terran Alliance, but this mission was different. The sensors had picked up something anomalous near the edge of the Vera expanse, a structure so old and enormous it seemed impossible to have been built by anything that lived within memory. It wasn't on any star charts, and nothing in the Alliance archives mentioned it. "This is magnificent," whispered Dr. Kale Wren, the ship's xenohistorian hovering near the viewport. His face reflected awe in the cold light of distant suns. "You don't see things like this every century, Captain. Whatever it is, it's ancient, older than any recorded civilization we've encountered." Alina didn't respond. Her jaw was tight and her mind raced. A feeling she hadn't felt in years returned, something between fear and excitement. This was why humans explored the stars, after all, not for profit or territory, but for moments like this, for the chance to touch something that reminded them of what they were capable of. The anomaly loomed closer on the ship's displays, a jagged silhouette of colossal arches and towers, made of a black metal that seemed to drink in the light around it. Sensors couldn't classify the material. It didn't match any known element. "No signatures for life detected," the AI intoned in its calm voice. "No energy emissions beyond residual thermal traces." Alina exhaled slowly. "Which means we could be the first intelligent beings to set foot here, ever." Her crew exchanged nervous glances. First contact with an alien civilization had always been a theoretical concept, exciting and terrifying. But this was something else. It wasn't alive, but it wasn't dead either. The structure seemed to hum in some way, a subtle vibration that reached their bones more than their ears. Lieutenant Mara Jin, the ship's security officer, tightened her grip on the plasma sidearm holstered at her thigh. "Captain, sensors are picking up movement. Very faint, internal but consistent. Could be atmospheric shifts, could be something else." Alina didn't take her eyes off the viewport. "Something else," she murmured, "and I intend to find out what it is." The Ardent's Edge docked onto one of the structure's massive platforms using magnetic clamps that took nearly an hour to engage. The doors slid open with a groan that echoed across the silent expanse, revealing a vast chamber beyond. The floor was polished, black as obsidian, reflecting the light from their suits' headlamps like a pool of liquid night. Columns rose like the trunks of some ancient cosmic forest, twisting impossibly toward a ceiling that seemed to vanish into shadow. Symbols covered the walls, sharp, geometric shapes that defied simple translation. Dr. Wren knelt to study the patterns. "This is a language, but not like anything we've ever cataloged. It's not phonetic, not pictorial, it's mathematical, emotional even. The shapes seem to correspond with concepts rather than words. You could read it and still not know what it's saying until you felt it." Alina ran a gloved hand over one of the symbols. The metal was cool, almost alive beneath her touch. A low hum resonated through the floor, stronger here than outside, vibrating through her chest. "I feel it too," she said, "like it's aware we're here." Mara stepped forward cautiously. "Aware or reactive? Because if it's alive, I vote we leave immediately." Alina shook her head. "We came here for answers. We can't leave without them." As they ventured deeper, the structure revealed itself to be more than a building. It was a city, frozen in time. Towers and bridges stretched into the darkness, some crumbled, others intact, all connected by walkways wide enough to span the gap between stars if they were built in space. There were no doors, no windows, no evidence of typical habitation. Yet every step echoed as though someone, or something, had passed this way recently. Then the discovery came. In the heart of the city, a central plaza opened, and at its center stood a monument that drew the crew to it like gravity. It was a sphere of translucent crystal, hovering a meter above the ground. Inside, intricate filaments of light twisted and shifted, forming shapes that seemed vaguely familiar, human, almost. Dr. Wren's eyes widened. It's a memory core. Whatever civilization built this, they recorded themselves. Everything. Their history, knowledge, perhaps even their consciousness. It's a repository of an entire species. Alina stared at the sphere, a chill running down her spine. And no one has touched it in thousands of years until now. They approached carefully, sensors humming as they tried to interface with the crystal. It responded immediately, not with sound but with a pulse of thought. Not their thoughts, but memories, images, emotions. Alina staggered as visions filled her mind. Cities of impossible architecture, beings communicating in streams of light and color, wars fought not with weapons but with ideas encoded into living tissue. Mara stumbled back. "Captain, I can feel it too. It's like it knows us." "Yes," Alina said, breathless. "It's not just a record, it's reaching out." Then the images shifted. A figure appeared, humanoid but unmistakably alien, holding a child close. The child's eyes, green, vibrant, locked onto Alina, and then the realization struck her. The child looked human. Dr. Wren gasped. "That's impossible. Humans didn't evolve anywhere near this sector." Alina's mind raced. Not evolved, transported, genetically engineered. A soundless pulse of energy shot through the crystal, locking onto her neural signature. Her vision blurred as patterns of DNA unfolded before her eyes, interwoven between species, showing shared sequences, ancient experiments spanning millennia. Humanity was not alone. Humans had been part of something far older, something deliberate. She stumbled back, clutching her head. We are not who we think we are." Mara stared horrified. "Captain, what does that mean?" Alina swallowed hard. "It means everything we know about ourselves is a lie. Someone, something planted us here, or split us from them. And this structure is the proof." The crystal pulsed again, projecting a holographic map across the plaza. Coordinates lit up, pointing to distant systems, other ruins, other memory cores. The entire galaxy seemed to have been seeded with evidence. As though the builders had wanted one day, someone would discover the truth. Dr. Wren whispered, voice trembling. "It's a library, a genetic archive. Whoever did this left a roadmap, a guide to the origins of all intelligent life in this sector, and humans are part of it." Alina's jaw tightened. Then someone out there knows about it, and if they do, they might not want this discovered. Suddenly the air shifted. The temperature dropped, and the shadows seemed to move unnaturally. The hum in the floor escalated into a low roar, echoing through the massive chamber. The crystal flared, sending beams of light shooting in all directions. "Movement," Mara shouted. "Sensors are picking up multiple ships entering the system." Alina's stomach dropped. "We're not alone." Outside the viewport, sleek vessels appeared from hyperspace, their hulls gleaming with deadly precision. The designs were unfamiliar, but one symbol was clear: a serpent coiled around a star, marking the fleet as part of an interstellar order known for enforcement and secrecy. Dr. Wren whispered, pale, "They're here for the crystal, for the archive." Alina gritted her teeth. "Then we have to move. We take what we can and we leave. If this knowledge falls into the wrong hands," she didn't finish the thought. "The consequences were too vast to imagine." The Ardent's Edge had never faced a direct confrontation like this. They were explorers, not soldiers. But humans had one advantage: ingenuity. And Alina had no intention of letting humanity's past, its origin, be controlled by anyone else. "Prep the retrieval drones," she ordered. "We download everything we can into the ship's core, And Mara, keep those weapons ready. We might need more than luck to get out of this. The crew moved with urgency, but the crystal pulsed faster, almost as if resisting. The memory streams fought to compress themselves into the drones, and the holographic map flickered, sending disorienting flashes across the chamber. Alina caught a glimpse of something terrifying, a projection of a being similar to her, human in form, but eyes glowing with alien light. It raised a hand in warning or a threat, and the crystal's pulse intensified, almost knocking her off her feet. "We've triggered it," Dr. Wren shouted. "It knows we're taking it." Alina's eyes narrowed. "Then let it know this. Humans don't give up, not easily, not ever." The first part of their mission had turned into a race against time, against unknown forces, against a truth that could unravel everything humanity thought it knew about itself. And somewhere deep inside her, Alina felt a surge of pride, defiance, and fear all at once, the kind of feeling only humans could carry into the void of space. The ships outside had closed their formation, and from the crystal, a voice echoed, not in sound but in understanding, "The Guardians are coming. Will you survive what you are about to inherit?" Alina straightened, determination hardening her spine. "We will survive," she said, "because we are human." And with that, the first move in a game older than the stars themselves had begun. The bridge of the Arden's edge hummed with controlled chaos. Screens blinked frantically, each showing approaching vessels, unknown readings, and streams of data from the retrieval drones struggling to interface with the crystal. "Captain, the fleet isn't just observing," Lieutenant Mara Jin said, her voice taut. "They're coordinating. Weapons are online. Shields up only buys us minutes, not hours." Alina Voss stood rigid, scanning the viewport. The alien ships were sleek, angular, and clearly designed for efficiency rather than diplomacy. Yet, despite their intimidation, Alina felt the spark she had always carried. Humans were survivors, improvisers, problem solvers. They might not have numbers, but they had willpower, and sometimes that was enough. "Drones are halfway through the download," Dr. Kale Wren reported, sweat gleaming on his forehead. "But the crystal is resisting. It's not letting the data go easily. The encryption isn't digital, it's biological, neural. We're literally hacking a living memory." Alina's jaw clenched. "Then we work with it, not against it. Whatever they expect, we're not going to give it up without a fight." The first volley came without warning. The alien fleet fired a pulse of energy that lit the void with brilliant blue arcs. The Arden's edge shook violently, shields flaring as alarms blared. Crew members were thrown against consoles. Alina grabbed a support rail, heart hammering. "Shields holding," the AI reported, "but energy levels dropping rapidly. Sustained fire will overwhelm systems in 7 minutes." Mara snapped to her stations. "I'm not letting them force us into surrender. Alina, we have to move or we die here." Alina shook her head. "No, we finish the download first. Humanity doesn't back down from the truth, Mara, not ever." The drones hovered above the hovering crystal, filaments of light streaming into their ports. Every pulse from the crystal sent a wave of energy through the ship, nearly scrambling the AI's interface. Yet somehow the human crew adapted. Where machines hesitated, human intuition filled the gaps. Kale adjusted the drone's neural link manually, fingertips brushing holographic controls. "It's responding to emotional input," he shouted. "It's reading us, not just us reading it." Alina realized something. This archive was not passive. It tested those who tried to take it. It measured resolve, morality, and intention. The crystal could feel fear, hope, courage, and humans, for all their flaws, were uniquely capable of the combination the archive required. A second pulse hit. Sparks flew from the console. Mara shouted over the alarms, "They're trying to shut the link. If the drones fail now, we lose everything." Alina turned sharply. "Then we protect the link ourselves. Kale, keep the drones stable. Mara, cover the ports manually." The team leapt into synchronized action. Hands, minds, and instincts worked faster than the AI could process. Alina grabbed the nearest drone, manually holding it steady while Kale recalibrated the neural connection. Mara fired bursts at the incoming pulses, using the ship's energy weapons defensively, not offensively. Outside, the alien fleet's vessels shifted in formation, sending warning pulses that could have disabled the Ardent Edge's shields in seconds. And yet, the humans endured. Time slowed inside the ship as the crystal's data flooded their systems. Images, equations, and genetic sequences wrapped around Alina's mind. She saw planets designed for life that never evolved naturally, histories of civilizations built by beings who seemed almost divine. And then, buried within, she found it. A pattern. A genetic signature that linked humans and multiple alien species, proof that humanity had not simply evolved in isolation. Alina staggered back, breathless. "It's true." She whispered, "We weren't separate. Someone built us. Someone shaped the galaxy to test us." Kale looked pale, staring at his console. And the instructions, they're not just a record. They're a guide, a manual. Whoever did this, they wanted us to find it, to understand it, to finish it. Mara's voice was tight. "Finish it. Captain, are you saying this is some kind of cosmic experiment?" Alina's fingers drummed against the railing. "Not an experiment, a responsibility. Whoever created these archives trusted us, or at least trusted humans to interpret it, to act on it. That's HFY if I've ever seen it." She let a brief, grim smile flash across her face. Humanity is meant to be more than survivors. We're inheritors of a galaxy-wide legacy. The alien fleet grew impatient. Energy pulses became erratic, closer, more dangerous. Outside, one of their vessels fired a warning strike, cutting a swath through the vacuum of space near the ship. The shockwave rattled the hull. Alina grabbed Mara's arm. "We don't have much time. Drones, shields, weapons, everything must synchronize. Humans can improvise, yes, but now we have to outthink them, not just outfight them." Mara nodded, adjusting targeting protocols to avoid defensive overload. Kale worked frantically with the drones, entering sequences that only someone with his combination of historical knowledge and intuition could decode. The crystal pulsed violently, almost as if urging them to act faster. Alina understood. It wasn't just data, it was alive, waiting for humans capable of understanding it fully. Then the unexpected happened. One of the drone's neural links connected directly with Alina. Instantly, she saw through the crystal's eyes. An alien species unlike anything in Alliance records. They were humanoid, but their skin shimmered with metallic tones, their limbs elongated, their minds a chorus of overlapping consciousness. They were the architects of the archive, and they were watching. "Captain," Kale said, voice trembling, "it's showing me them. They knew we'd come. This archive, it was waiting for us, waiting for humans." Alina clenched her fists. "Then we make them see what humans can do. We finish the transfer, complete the archive, and get out. No one else can claim it but us. This is ours because we earned it." The alien fleet outside made another move, attempting to disable the ship's engines. Alina's mind raced. Fighting them directly would be suicide. Humans had a different approach. Cunning, unpredictability, and sheer nerve. "Engage evasive maneuvers," she ordered. "We lure them into the gravitational anomaly nearby, the one we detected on approach. They can't navigate it as easily as we can." Mara's eyes widened. "That's extremely risky." Alina smiled grimly. "Yes, but risk is what makes humans special. Let's remind them why they call us dangerous." The ship twisted and dove toward the anomaly, a swirling mass of gravitational waves that bent light in space. The alien vessels followed, their precision sensors struggling against the distortions. The Ardent Edge's hull groaned but held as the crew pressed on. Inside, the crystal's light intensified, sending streams of data directly into the ship's mainframe. Alina's hands flew over controls. Kale's fingers danced over the drone interfaces, and Mara's eyes never left the viewport. Every moment counted. Then disaster. One of the larger alien vessels fired a pulse that struck the Ardent's Edge's aft shield. Sparks flew, and one drone teetered on the edge of collapse. Elena lunged, catching it just in time, her body straining under the weight. "Data's almost complete," Kale shouted. "Just a few more seconds." Elena took a deep breath. "Hold it together, we're human, we adapt, we survive." The last pulse from the crystal entered the ship. Data cascaded through the Ardent's Edge, neural and digital systems intertwining. The ship itself seemed to hum with newfound energy, as if acknowledging that it now carried the legacy of the galaxy within it. Outside, the alien fleet faltered. The gravitational anomaly interfered with their formation. Elena seized the moment. Full impulse, away from the anomaly. The ship surged forward, engines screaming. One by one, the alien vessels broke off pursuit, unable to navigate the swirling distortions. The human crew had won, through intellect, courage, and the refusal to back down. In the aftermath, the Ardent's Edge floated in silence, data secured, the crystal's influence contained. Elena looked at her crew, exhausted but alive. Kale broke the silence first. We did it. We completed the archive. It's ours to protect, to understand, to share." Mara smiled faintly. "And they'll remember us. Humans didn't just survive. We earned this. HFY, Captain. Humans first and foremost." Elena exhaled slowly, relief and pride mixing in equal measure. Humanity had once again proven its worth, not through brute force, but through ingenuity, bravery, and resilience. Yet a shadow lingered. The crystal pulsed faintly, almost impatiently. The archive was complete, but the legacy it carried was vast. The galaxy itself would not remain indifferent. Elena's jaw tightened. "We've survived this battle, but the war, the real challenge, begins when the galaxy learns what we've found." Outside, stars shimmered, indifferent to the struggles of a single species. But within humans, a spark burned brighter than any star, a spark of courage, curiosity, and the unyielding drive to reach for the unknown. And somewhere deep in the crystal's memory, a voice whispered, not in sound but in thought, "The inheritors have arrived. Now let us see if they are worthy." Elena's eyes hardened. "We will be worthy because we are human." The Ardent's Edge drifted into open space, engines cooling, shields humming faintly. The galaxy stretched endlessly, indifferent to the small human ship carrying the most dangerous knowledge in the universe. Elena Voss stood at the viewport, hands clasped behind her back. She felt the weight of what they had done. Humanity was no longer just a fledgling species. They were part of a story older than memory, a story that demanded understanding and courage. Kale Ren approached, eyes tired but bright. "The archive is fully integrated. We've secured every fragment of the crystal's data. We can now translate, decode, and, if we choose, share it with the galaxy." Elena's gaze remained fixed outside. "Share it carefully. The galaxy isn't ready for humanity to wield knowledge like this without understanding its responsibility." Mara Jin joined them at the viewport, her usual humor subdued. "I still can't believe we made it out alive. That anomaly, that fleet, I expected to die 20 times over, but here we are." Elena turned to face her crew. "Because we are human, not perfect, not invincible, but adaptive, creative, brave. When we are faced with the impossible, we find a way." She smiled faintly. HFY isn't just a slogan. It's what we do every day, whether anyone notices. Back at the neural interface, the crystal's memory pulsed gently, as if acknowledging the human determination that had allowed its secrets to flow. Kale monitored the translation processes, astonished. "Elena, this is beyond language. It's its understanding itself. History, science, philosophy, genetics, it's all encoded together. Whoever built this archive didn't just want us to know. They wanted us to think, to reason, to connect dots we didn't even know existed." Elena nodded. "Exactly. And that's why the galaxy is watching. The archive is not a weapon, but it will be treated like one. Our job is to show that humans can be trusted with power, knowledge, responsibility. Mara crossed her arms, leaning against a console. So, what do we do now? We can't just sit here. They'll be looking for a response. Other species, the fleet that chased us, everyone knows something has changed. Alina's eyes hardened. We prepare. We communicate. We lead by example. Humanity can no longer remain on the sidelines. If we don't act, someone else will, and they may not care about ethics, morality, or survival of other species. We show the galaxy that humans can handle the truth, and we make it clear that cooperation is better than conquest. Kale exhaled. That's ambitious, scary, possibly suicidal. Alina laughed softly. Welcome to being human. In the distance, the alien fleet's formation shifted. Instead of pursuing aggressively, their movements suggested curiosity, caution. The human crew knew why. Fragments of the crystal's data were already being broadcast through the Ardent's Edge's emergency channels, enough to signal that humans had completed the transfer and were now capable of accessing the galaxy-wide archive. Mara muttered, "They're waiting to see what we do next. Any misstep and it's open season." Alina nodded. We're not going to fight them. We're going to show them what humans can do without violence. We broadcast the knowledge openly but responsibly. Transparency is our weapon now. Curiosity, ingenuity, collaboration, that's our strategy. Kale frowned. That's dangerously optimistic. Alina smiled, her eyes gleaming with the fire that had carried her through every impossible situation. Humans have survived worse. We've faced extinction, isolation, betrayal, and still we adapt. That's what makes us worthy. The next hours were tense. The Ardent's Edge sent out calibrated signals, encoded not to provoke fear but to demonstrate understanding. Data streams detailed the archive's existence, the shared genetic markers linking multiple species, and instructions for accessing the knowledge safely. The broadcast was deliberate, measured, and patient. Human ingenuity distilled into pure strategy. Ships from multiple species paused, intercepted the signals, and decoded fragments of the archive. Some reacted with hostility, but many responded with curiosity. Diplomats, scientists, and explorers across the galaxy began sending messages of acknowledgement, questions, and offers of cooperation. Alina watched it unfold. "It's working," she murmured. "They're starting to see humans differently." Mara chuckled faintly. "I never thought I'd see the day when humans lead the galaxy with information." Kale's hands hovered over the interface, awe in his eyes. This is history. We're not just participants. We're catalysts. The humans did what no one else could, turned knowledge into a bridge, not a weapon. Alina's gaze drifted to the stars, her mind racing with possibilities. The archive held power beyond comprehension, but it was humans who had proven they could handle it responsibly. The galaxy would never be the same. Days passed. Communication channels opened. Neutral assemblies formed. Humans and allied species convened under a newly established neutral council. Alina and her crew were invited as representatives, not because of rank, but because they had demonstrated the capability to act with wisdom and courage. On the council's first day, Alina addressed delegates from countless worlds. Her voice was calm, confident, carrying the weight of responsibility. Today, we are faced with evidence of a shared past, a history that unites us all. We are fragments of civilizations that sought understanding and survival. This knowledge is not a weapon to dominate, nor a prize to hoard. It is a gift, a responsibility. Humanity has taken its first step not as conquerors, but as collaborators. We invite you to join us in exploring this legacy together, for the benefit of all species, not the advantage of one. There was silence, then cautious nods, then applause. Not all were convinced, but many recognized the truth. Humans had proven their worth, not through firepower, but through intellect, courage, and restraint. Back aboard the Ardent's Edge, Alina reflected on the journey. The crystal had been more than a repository of knowledge. It was a test, a challenge, and a bridge. Humanity had passed, not because they were the strongest, but because they were adaptable, creative, and compassionate when it mattered most. Kale and Mara joined her in the observation deck. "You think we're ready for this?" Mara asked. Alina smiled. "We're ready because we have no choice, and because humans always find a way. HFY isn't about being perfect. It's about doing what's necessary and doing it better than anyone expects." Kale nodded. "I never thought I'd see humanity take the lead in shaping interstellar diplomacy, let alone our survival." Alina's gaze wandered to the stars. "Lead we shall, not for domination, not for glory, but because we can, because we've been tested and we've proven worthy. That's humanity's gift, resilience, ingenuity, and the courage to act when others hesitate." Weeks later, the Neutral Council convened formally, bringing together representatives from hundreds of worlds. The archive was now openly accessible, its secrets decrypted and preserved under joint oversight. Humanity had earned a seat at the table, not as subordinates, but as equals. Alina sat quietly, watching the discussions unfold. Delegates debated, negotiated, and shared ideas. Humans contributed insights, suggestions, and strategies, sometimes unorthodox, often surprisingly effective. Their approach was unlike any other species, fearless, inventive, and relentlessly curious. Mara leaned over, whispering, "Looks like the humans are making friends again." Alina chuckled softly. "Not friends, allies, and sometimes that's even better." As the council adjourned, Alina and her crew returned to the Arden's edge. Outside, stars stretched into infinity. Humanity had taken its first true step into galactic society, not as conquerors, but as catalysts of cooperation. Kale tapped the interface, now calm, almost serene. "The crystal, it's quiet now. It seems satisfied." Alina nodded. It was never about proving strength. It was about proving understanding. Humans can do that. We did. Mara smiled, eyes on the horizon. "And if we can survive this, imagine what else we can do." Alina felt a quiet pride, deep and abiding. Humanity had faced impossible odds, survived, and risen to a challenge older than memory. They were still flawed, still reckless at times, but the spark inside them, creativity, courage, persistence, was unmatched in the galaxy. She looked at her crew. "We've finished this mission, but the universe, it's far from finished, and neither are we." Kale grinned, ready for the next impossible thing. Alina's eyes gleamed. "Always, because we are human, and we always find a way." Outside, the stars continued their silent dance, bearing witness to humanity's first true claim to its place in the galaxy. And for the first time in generations, humans and their allies felt something new: hope, potential, and the quiet knowledge that they were part of something far greater than themselves. Somewhere in the vast expanse of the universe, the architects of the archive observed, their presence faint but undeniable. And yet, they did not intervene. They had tested humanity and found them worthy. Alina smiled, soft but determined. "We will not fail, not now, not ever. HFY isn't just a slogan, it's our destiny." And as the Arden's edge sailed into the unknown, carrying knowledge, courage, and hope, humanity finally understood what it truly meant to inherit the stars.